Good evening. Welcome to Sound Health on Lagos Television, and thanks for staying always with us. I'm Olatunji Modupe. Scientists are still working at record speed to review and counter reports of blood clots and low platelet about the COVID-19 vaccines, especially the AstraZeneca brand. Today on Sound Health, our focus is on development and safety of the COVID-19 vaccines. My resource person is on standby, and you will get to meet him after COVID-19 updates. Please stay with us.
Deliveries of COVID-19 vaccines produced by the Serum Institute of India (SII) to lower-income economies participating in the COVAX facility will face delays during March and April as the government of India battles a new wave of COVID-19 infections. COVAX and the government of India remain in discussions to ensure some supplies are completed during March and April. According to the agreement between Gavi and Serum Institute of India, which included funding to support an increase in manufacturing capacity, SII is contracted to provide COVAX with the SII licensed and manufactured AstraZeneca AZ Oxford vaccine known as Covishield to 64 lower-income economies participating in the Gavi COVAX AMC, including India, alongside its commitments to the government of India. Till date, COVAX has been supplied with 28 million Covishield doses and was expecting an additional 40 million doses to be available in March and up to 50 million doses in April. Lagos State government has extended the ongoing vaccination exercise for frontline healthcare workers by another 10 days. Commissioner for Health, Professor Abayomi, said the extension is in line with the directive of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA. He added that over 127,885 Lagosians had received the jab, and the exercise will continue at the 88 vaccination sites in Lagos for only citizens that fall within the Phase 1 category, including health and frontline workers, senior citizens aged 70 years and above, essential duty staff, and strategic leaders. Till date, 162,641 cases have been confirmed, 150,466 discharges, and 2,049 deaths have been recorded in 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Globally, there have been over 126.8 million confirmed cases of COVID-19, including above 2.7 million deaths reported to WHO. More than 462.8 vaccine doses have been administered.
Thanks for staying with us. Today, my resource person is Professor Olatunji Kolawole, a professor of medical virology. He is the immediate past director, Institute of Molecular Science and Biotechnology, University of Ilorin. Professor Kolawole is also a member Ministerial Expert Advisory Committee on COVID-19 Health Sector Response. He is speaking with us from Ilorin via Zoom. It is an honor to have you on Sound Health, Professor.
It's a pleasure to be on board this afternoon. Thank you.
I'm sure you are no longer surprised about lots of misinformation about COVID-19 vaccines around the world. Some believe they are being vaccinated with microchips. Some also have opined that the barcodes on each card issued after vaccination is just a supporting evidence to back up their fears. Tell us, what is the makeup of these vaccines?
Well, thank you. Once again, I want to thank you for the invitation to make clarity and provide better, information to the general public on what this vaccine is all about. There are several conspiracy theories, which of course one of them, as part of the things you have mentioned, that these vaccines are made up of microchips. Some even said the vaccines they are being produced to alter the DNA of individuals of man. I want to say authoritatively, as an expert in this field, that these vaccines are not made of microchips. They are vaccines that have followed legal procedures and requirements for development of vaccines. It's necessary to state at this point that these vaccines have what we refer to as WHO approvals for emergency use. Have gone through all the thorough production process, which is acceptable scientifically. And then, as I speak to you, over 300 million doses of this vaccine have been administered all over the world. There are no single case of a single death. So it further emphasizes the fact that these vaccines are safe. They are not, as people have accused, that they are microchips essentially necessary to change the genetic components of man. These are not true. They are all conspiracy theories. So I want to say in this direction, in this line, that these vaccines have followed the laid down procedures and the regulations for vaccines development. It's obvious that the times we are now, science is changing, and of course there are modern technologies which these vaccines have been developed with. We don't live in the old age where we begin to think vaccines need to be developed within 10, 15 years period. This is one of the conspiracy theories. But the truth is just that there are many modern technologies today that we are aware of scientifically that have been proven that can be used, which we refer to as the plug-in-play approach, that can be used to develop fast vaccine production, since these are approaches that have been used for other vaccines in the past. So as I speak to you, these vaccines are safe, they are efficacious, and they are good to go. Thank you.
There are so many variants now. What impact do they have on the vaccines? And can I wait for more research? And why must I get vaccinated now?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. The question is very, very, very important at this time. Viral mutation is a common thing with viruses. It's not new. And so when we find mutants with SARS-CoV-2, they are not new. It's expected of viruses. But as I speak to you right now, the vaccine has efficacy against all variants. There are no research thus far that stipulates that any of the variants are resistant to the vaccines. We should expect more variants. As I said, mutation in viruses are normal and they occur spontaneously as many times as you can think. So we have several variations of mutations occurring in viruses. And so it depends on the viruses we're talking about. So it's possible for this virus to have several mutations. And so we have several variants. But the good news is that so far, the vaccines that are available have efficacy against all the variants. So this should not be a cause for alarm at all. Thank you.
Research and review are ongoing about the vaccines. What is the span of immunity expected after vaccination?
Yes, thank you, Sumbo. That's a very good one. We are advocating that we are expecting that as many as possible should take this vaccine. What we're trying to establish is so that while we take the vaccine, to accelerate herd immunity in the population. Now, when we have about 70% of the population that have taken the vaccine, it will actually accelerate the herd immunity, which the Nigerian government is trying to do. And that's why we are advocating that as many as possible should take this vaccine. Natural immunity is possible, but it will take a long time. And that's the essence why we need to accelerate the herd immunity, such that we have people who take the vaccine. The vaccine, what it does is that it boosts the immune responses of the body, such that instead of naturally developing immunity against this virus, the vaccine tends to enhance the immune responses and then, enhance the rate at which many people develop immunity to the virus. So when we have about 70% of our population with immunity to the virus, then we're able to establish what we refer to as herd immunity. And when there's herd immunity, it helps faster to put an end to the pandemic. And this is the goal entirely all over the world in terms of global health. The whole world is trying to attain and herd immunity, and that's why you find out that the vaccine drive is all over the world. So Nigeria should not be left in this exception. There are many approaches to eradicating viruses, viral infections. But of course, this approach is also very tenable and very scientific. And so if there are no drugs of cure, the best bet is vaccination. And vaccination, what it does is that when there's an herd immunity, it tends to pull down and then to, put an end to the existing pandemic which we are experiencing. Thank you.
Tell us, Professor Kolawole, can I return to my normal activities after vaccination?
Oh, yes, of course you will, as you are right now. It's just that what we're advocating for is that we should all, exhibit and then follow all the laid down procedures, the principles. Even after vaccination, we are expected also to implement all the non-pharmaceutical interventions, that washing of hands, use of face masks, and then social distancing. All these are necessary so as to avert reinfection. You see, vaccination, as I explained earlier, is to boost and enhance the immunity of the body. So it does not prevent you from exposure to the infection. So the only way you can be prevented from exposure to the infection is to implement, using the non-pharmaceutical interventions, particularly, use of face masks and then social distancing and then washing of hands. These are very, very important. We cannot throw this away at all. So the normal life still remains. It's just that we just all have to agree that we have come to a new normal. And so it's expected that we need to go through this direction.
Thanks for the clarification, because most people are still curious why they still need to carry on with all the precautionary measures after vaccination.
Yes. Yeah, you are correct. How many of us will be interested to have a reinfection? Nobody will be happy about that. And so we're not saying that vaccination is, bringing in vaccination, you taking the vaccine is going to give you a total, prevention from the infection now. All we're saying invariably is that having been vaccinated, there's every tendency that you can live a normal life when you exhibit and use all the precautionary measures of use of face masks and the washing of hands and social distancing. That will avert you from re-exposure to the infection. And so your body system tends to be able to recover even when there are lower doses that you have exposure to. So, but if you don't use all those things, you are exposing yourself to more doses of the viral infection. And of course, you understand the principle behind immunology. If you have more of the antigen coming into focus with the body system, there's a breakdown in the body system. So the immunity you have built over the time will break down. So that's the essence why we need to prevent a reinfection. So it is very pertinent and very important that even after vaccination, you just still have to use the face mask. You still have to use, you have to exhibit social distancing as much as possible, and then, of course, washing of hands. Of course, personal hygiene is very important in terms of health, and it's often said that prevention is better than cure. So our personal hygiene is very, very important. Health, they say, is wealth. So we must go into this direction. Thank you.
Okay, before I ask my next question, can you develop antibodies after vaccination? Because there are reports in some foreign media that people claim they have developed antibodies after vaccination.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, Sumbo. That's the principle behind vaccination. The principle behind vaccination is that you are introduced, for example, the AstraZeneca vaccine, we're introducing replicative, adenovirus, chimpanzee adenovirus strain into the individual body. So this is the active component that is found in the vaccine. And so what it does is that since it's a non-replicative virus, it's when it gets into the body as a foreign antigen, the body system reacts immediately and then build up immunity, thinking it is a live virus, whereas it's not a live virus. So by the time the immunity is built up, it leaves the body saved over years, over time, such that when a live virus comes into focus with the body system is already made up to be able to react against the live virus that will be coming in, attacking such an individual. So the principle of vaccination itself is to build up the body immune system, build up antibody response, such that it is prompt, active, at the point when such an individual will have exposure to the live viruses.
Do I need to wait for 6 months after I get vaccinated before getting pregnant? I would like you to clarify if there's a myth, if it's a myth or misconceptions.
Yes. They are still study ongoing. We don't have reports yet of vaccination in regards to pregnancy. But I think what I could advise at this point is that for an individual, I think we should, if you are not pregnant yet, fine, you can. But if you are pregnant, I think it's necessary for you to follow up and ask more details from your physician. This is very, very important. There are no studies yet to establish the vaccines with pregnancy. Usually, pregnancy situations of individual, the person are a bit immunocompromised because of the situation of the pregnancy. But however, I think it's pertinent for us to state at this point that the vaccine with pregnancy, there are no studies yet to ascertain this. So we cannot make a verdict opinion on this for now. Thank you.
Talking about side effects now, vaccination is ongoing all over the country. How can I handle these side effects? Can you tell us about the most occurring side effects in the country, if there has been any?
Okay, I think I will start with myself.
Okay.
I took my first dose also. So
Right.
I'm speaking because I'm speaking, not just speaking theory, but I'm talking about the fact that I've also taken my own dose, AstraZeneca vaccine, which I took some days ago. And of course, there are some mild side effects. I also sampled opinions of some other people who have taken the vaccine also. There are mild side effects, which are not too serious to be of issues of concern at all. Mild side effects like weakness of the body. What I experienced was a bit of weakness of the body. And then by the time you take paracetamol, you are okay. As I speak to you now, I'm very okay. I do all my activities as usual. No challenges, no obstruction at all. So that's just to emphasize to us that the vaccine is safe. There are no drugs that does not have one or two side effects on its own, but it's just that most side effects are very mild. And as I speak to you, based on some of the little studies that have been conducted in our country, using the Naranjo algorithm scale, the side effects that have been reported had a scale score of 0. And when you have a scale score of 0, it tends to establish the fact that the side effects you are experiencing are not actually due to the vaccine itself. So we are good to go, Zumbo. The vaccine is safe. And I want to also recommend to you that you should please take yours too.
All right, there, Professor Kolawole, I've actually taken mine. So,
Oh, great. That's good.
thank you. What should I do if I feel unwell before my next appointment, before my next jab?
Yeah, what if you feel well? I think it's necessary to consult your physician. That's very important. Of course, as I said, these are just very rare cases. If you do, please kindly consult your physician.
The World Health Organization on COVID-19, the subcommittee says countries should monitor the safety of all COVID-19 vaccines and promote reporting of suspected adverse events. How do we achieve this with the peculiar setting of the country?
That's Nigeria. Yeah, thank you very much, Sumbo. We, as a country, of course, as a member of the Ministerial Expert Committee on COVID, this is one of the things that we have also advocated for. And I can tell you, emphatically that there are cohort studies going on right now while this vaccine administration is ongoing in the country. So there are cohort studies to establish if there are side effects that could be reported. And I can tell you that the country is actually, the Prime Minister of Health is doing something in this regard.
This is all we have time for, Professor Kolawole. We have benefited from your wealth of experience. Thanks for obliging us.
Thank you very much.
I have been speaking with Professor Olatunji Kolawole via Zoom from Ilorin. He is a professor of medical virology and the immediate past director, Institute of Molecular Science and Biotechnology, University of Ilorin. Professor Kolawole is also a member, Ministerial Expert Advisory Committee on COVID-19 Health Sector Response. Sound Health continues with Trending Health Reports. You're still watching Sound Health on Lagos Television. More to come in a moment. Please make plans to get vaccinated. The vaccines are safe and harmless. The process is also seamless. Walk into any of the centers. In Lagos, there are actually 88 centers. Together, we can achieve the desired herd immunity. For comments and inquiries, please send SMS to 08035826603 or follow us on social media at LTV Social, #SoundHealth. A sound health is a sound mind. Make healthy living your choice.